Zach, can you talk to us about your favorite species of python here?
These are carpet pythons. I have several different species. There's a lot to learn about carpet pythons because there's a variety of sizes, a variety of temperaments available. Some of them are more geared towards your novice or beginner to intermediate, and some of them are definitely more on your intermediate to high side, depending on a lot to do with temperament. One of them I like that's a really good one for a first-time snake, or not for a first-time snake owner, but for a first-time carpet python owner is an Irian Jaya or a Papuan carpet python. They are the most readily available in the smallest of sizes. You can get some jungles that are a little bit smaller, but consistently these are going to be 5 to 6 foot snakes, similar to your ball pythons, except a lot smaller bodied, not near as large bodied as those. You're going to need more of a up and down type of enclosure for them because they will need some climbing height. Even as an adult they'll climb, so they'll need some type of semi-arboreal setup for their enclosure. The IJs specifically tend to be fairly docile. The handling's good. You just get a little bit more of a feeding response whenever you get them out, so you've got to be comfortable with an animal that's really hungry and really driven to eat all the time. And that's why I say maybe not the novice level beginner, but if you're a beginner who might be your second animal, or you've held others and you're a little older, it could be a beginner animal.
Do you think a new carpet python person should invest in a hook?
A hook training is very good for your carpet pythons until you get a good level of handling, especially if you're not comfortable with getting bit. Because it's very good to do your hook training with them so you get them used to that, get them out with a hook, you touch them, they get used to being handled like that, they understand that that's when they're getting out. And so hook training is a good thing that you can do with your carpet pythons, especially if you move into some of your jungles or some of the ones that might be a little bit more food motivated than some of the other species. My IJs, I typically reach in there and just get them out like a ball python. As long as I'm handling my animals as much or more than I'm feeding them, the carpet pythons are an extremely intelligent species. You'll discover real quick, if you're going in there more to handle them than to feed them, they will look, they will check, they will tongue flick, highly intelligent. If you're only going there to feed this animal, they will shoot. They'll start shooting, and you definitely will have to be using hook training so they understand the one time you decide to handle them that it's not food related. And then once you get them out, they're still very docile though.
Are there any special health concerns people should look out for when selecting a carpet python?
So when you're looking for a carpet python, you always want to look for a good quality breeder, and you always want to ask about testing. Nidovirus is one that runs rampant in Morelia, which is your carpet python species, and it's not something that's talked about as much in that specific industry, so you definitely want to be asking about testing and making sure you're buying from a responsible breeder who is either breeding their own products or testing the products at least that they're on their table. So that's a big one for the carpet pythons. But the care on them is really, really easy. Specifically, some of them can require a little bit higher humidity. Your jungles do like a little bit nicer, at least a good spritz when they're in shed. But your IJs, they're going to be very similar in husbandry to some of the species we have here in America. 84 to 86 degree hot spot, very tolerant of lower humidity levels. So, as far as care is involved for your husbandry, the carpet python husbandry is very, very easy. It's very on the beginner side. The taking care of these, the housing and all of that is definitely on the beginner level. They're strong feeders. You don't have feeding problems like you have some other species. You don't have humidity problems that you'll have with a lot. So they check off so many beginner boxes. The only intermediate box that I really see for carpet pythons they check off is just the feeding response. You got to be ready for that when you get them, and someone needs to make sure you're ready for that. And maybe not like something where you would want your 8-year-old kid getting one out when they're a baby and they're not used to that kind of stuff. This is something for someone who's a little older, a little bit more experienced, but you don't have to have, had snakes for years to own one of these. They are fairly docile. And like my IJs, I just reach in and get them out. I don't have any fear of getting them out. I'm a little bit more concerned with some of my ball pythons. They're real docile. It's just when they're little, when they're babies, they can be a little bit, less confident, and you just got to learn to work through that and find a good breeder who's going to help talk you through that. Find a local breeder. I usually prefer, if you're buying one online, make sure you at least reach out, contact the breeder, vet them through other people in the industry, make sure that they have some sort of established web page, social media page, something establishing them as credible. And ask them a couple questions. If you're not getting good feedback from them, if they're not answering you, if you're not liking the answers you're getting, find someone else. There are other ones out here, and we are happy to help you.
Where can they message you if they have any questions about?
If you have any questions, you can look me up on Parpart's Pristine Pythons on Facebook or Instagram. You can also find me on Morph Market, or you can look me up in the new Husbandry Pro Market. You can search through the stores there and find Parpart's Pristine Pythons as well. And you can contact me through any of those avenues. I'm also the business development manager for Husbandry Pro. If you have any questions on husbandry or anything like that, or the application to help keep up with all of that, you can reach out to me directly through any avenue that you can contact Husbandry Pro as well.
Thank you, Zach, for the Papuan carpet species spotlight. And thank you to our sponsors, Stoneage ball pythons, Powerhouse pythons, Venus Reptilia, Small Town Exotics, Gray Family Snakes, and Bravo Zulu ball pythons. And thanks to all of our members who make this really fun every week. We'll see you next time.